I had a quick project I threw together this afternoon that I was going to share. I picked up it's a 9,000 watt, obviously Predator generator, and I was going to buy one of their wheel kits, but the cheap wheel kit I think was $25 or $30, and the good wheel kit that I actually kind of liked was I want to say like 60, or at least 40. I don't remember what it was, but it was too much for Harbor Freight stuff. So I got to looking around and found some good looking wheels, and these were like $6 a piece because they were on sale. I think they were normally 8 or 10, I don't know, but put those on, or I got those. The problem that I found when I got them home is that the hole diameter for the bearing is 5/8, and the hole that's drilled in the frame is basically 12 millimeter. I think a person could drill them out to 1/2 inch if they wanted to, but 12 millimeter I think is what they're designed for. I haven't measured the bolts on the actual Harbor Freight kit, but I'm assuming it's 12 millimeter. But anyways, I put 12 millimeter bolts in them. I think they're 12 millimeter by, I don't know what that is in metric, but it's basically a 4-inch long bolt. It's the longest bolt the hardware hardware store had in a metric size. So to address the 5/8 hole in the 12-inch bolt, or 12 millimeter bolt, what I did was bought some 1/2 inch water pipe, black pipe, whatever you want to call it, and I turned down the OD to 5/8 of an inch, and then the ID is naturally it's a 1/2 inch, which isn't a bad fit on the 12 millimeter. It's just a little bit loose, but nothing you can't live with like the 5/8 was. So just cut those just a little bit longer than the wheel so that I can tighten up the nut and not pinch the bearings on the wheel. And that took care of that side. And then on the handle, this is what I did. This is not what I would consider ideal. This is just something I slapped together, and I may redo it. I probably won't. My concept here was to have the handle be the front rest, and that's what it's on. It's actually, I cut it just a little bit short because I was in a hurry whenever I measured it, and it needs to be raised up 1.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that. I was just kind of roughing stuff in, but the idea was to have it where you could drag it out where you wanted to go, set your handle down, and then the generator would support itself on the handle. And one problem I ran into is that the handle's hitting the end of the generator, which isn't good. So I'm probably going to use a block. But to fix that, what needed to happen is kind of like what I've got here I've got a bolt running across there to stop the handle. Well, what it needs is either another one behind the handle, which would be, see if that'll stay there, like right here for that handle to rest up against, that you could leave in there permanently, and then have a removable one in the front to lock it. But in order to do that, you're going to need to make a bracket or have a piece of angle that's, I think this is probably this may be just 2 by 2 or 2.5 by 2.5, but you need something with a longer side on it, so you could go ahead and put a pin across there. I would use like one of those pins like they use in a hitch that has a pin, and then it's got a wire strap that comes off that you release, and then you pull the pin out. But if you put one there permanent and then a temporary one here, you could lock that in place and it wouldn't go forward or backwards. But for now, this is going to work. I'm just going to probably set it on a block of wood like I was doing in the garage. But these are 8 millimeter coarse thread metric by, I believe 30 millimeter is long enough to get the job done. I think these are 35s, they're just a little bit long. If you go too long on your top row of bolts, you're gonna hit the fuel tank. So that's the thing to watch there. You could cut them off if you bought too long a bolt, but I think a 30 millimeter would get you done there. And that's the bulk of it. Like I said, it works pretty good as far as moving it around, but like I said, the only thing I screwed up on was I made the handle just a little bit too short to make the machine level. So I'm either, and like I said, I either need to put a pin behind that, right here, or I need to put a standoff that goes between the bar and the frame there. I'm honestly probably not going to do either one. I'm just going to set it on a block, but that'll at least let you like lay it down. If you're wheeling it somewhere, you can set it on the handle and get stuff situated, then pick it up and put it on the block. But that's about everything. I haven't used it much yet, but I also bought a battery. Bought that off Amazon for, I want to say like $21, $22. The one from Harbor Freight isn't that high. It's 30, probably in the 30s. I was pricing them in the parts store, and they were 60 to 100, so I went with a cheaper one. But it cranks it right over and fires it right up. If you have any trouble finding your ground for your battery, which I had a hard time finding, it was actually tucked up in behind this motor back there in the abyss. The red was hanging down there where you could see it, but the black was not. So anyways, I just want to pass that on. That's, like I said, I've basically just got scrap materials and under $20 and a pretty heavy duty wheel kit. So hopefully that helps somebody out down the road.